Hey trainers, it's Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and I know that I have been on sabbatical for a little while from creating gaming videos while I've been getting settled back into school and everything, but I appreciate your patience and I hope that I will have some fun content to share with you. So the past few days here have been delightfully rainy, which is perfect as we approach spooky season, and I'm going to be showcasing Dusclops in today's video. I will be turning this into an XL Pokemon, but for the sake of just testing it out before the Halloween Cup starts, I went ahead and did some battles with this team before it was fully XL'd. But I do have the XL candy to do it, and I expect that I will power it all the way up before the Halloween Cup starts. We did recently have a Duskull Community Day event. That's another reason why I wanted to feature this Pokemon, because some people might be acquiring it for the first time. And even though it's the third evolution of Duskull, Dusk Noir, that got the special elite move that day, I actually like Dusclops even more in the Great League because it has access to a wider variety of moves and it is super spammy. So we are going to test it out here. As you can see, I am getting to these shadow punches super fast. Our little mummy Cyclops has a lot of energy to throw. And you know what? It is pretty tanky, but I did go ahead and shield that up because I knew that Samurott had access to Mega Horn, and bug-type moves are super effective against Dusclops, so I wanted to preserve a little energy before going into the next Pokemon. They were hoping that we were going to throw our energy, and then they, I think, planned to catch on the Umbreon. That's why they swapped so quickly. But I did not throw that energy, and I went ahead and swapped into my Azumarill. So we are going to get some Fairy-type moves going to produce some pretty serious offense against the Umbreon. Now, I usually run with Play Rough and Hydro Pump. However, in preparation for the Halloween Cup, I switched over to Ice Beam because I think A, having a spammier move is going to be helpful for that limited cup, and B, there's going to be a decent amount of bug types and poison types, which will take either neutral or super effective damage from those Ice Beams. So I think running Ice Beam is going to be particularly helpful right now. And then in this battle, we were able to get that last shield, which is nice. I went ahead and put up a shield here just in case I had miscounted and they got to a Sludge Bomb. But Mud Bomb is going to be resisted because of the flying typing on Talonflame, and we are going to be able to get to that Hurricane for super effective damage and clinch the game. Oh right, they still have Umbreon. Okay, but the Umbreon goes down pretty quickly. Those Incinerate attacks hit really, really hard. So Dusclops was helpful in spamming out a bunch of moves and whittling down the opponent's health, and we were able to pull off that win in the end. Okay, going into the next game with the same team, this is a much worse lead because normal resist Ghost. And then as soon as we switched into Talonflame, they brought in an Azumarill. So this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare for Pokemon Go. I figured they weren't going to shield up whatever the first move was, so I went ahead and went for Hurricane, but they did decide to shield, even though Azumarill is super tanky, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and use the Flame Charge to bulk up our attack here. We will shield once more and go for Hurricane. Oh, lag. Okay, yeah. So we didn't have to shield again. We could go straight for Hurricane, and that's perfect. We get both shields before the Talonflame goes down. They do have some residual energy, but that's fine. Dusclops is pretty bulky. I mean, it absorbed that Ice Beam without much problem, right? And remember, this one is barely over 1300 CP, so it's gonna work kind of like a Snorlax or a Lickitung, right? But of course, Hydro Pump is going to be a problem for pretty much anything. But that's fine. Dusclops was mostly in there with the Azumarill just to kind of soak damage. So now I can safely farm down with my own Azumarill and come out of this with lots and lots of energy. Let's see what they bring in next. They are going to bring back the Vigoroth. So Vigoroth is going to be rough for this team. Oh, they immediately switch into AWAC. So this is really bad for me because I don't have Hydro Pump on my Azumarill right now. That's the trade-off that I made for putting on Ice Beam in preparation for the Halloween Cup. I'm definitely going to want to shield this up because, wow, I expected Shadow Bone, and that would have been Shadow Ball, which does another 10, 20 base damage, neutral damage to Azumarill. So now we can bubble down. This is just going to be a Bone Club, should be no problem. And we get to build up a little extra energy. So the problem is this Vigoroth is kind of stacked right now. Oh, and it's a shiny Vigoroth. I should have expressed admiration for that sooner. Okay, so we are going to go for the play rough, and will this be enough? It is not. We just barely missed taking out the shiny Vigoroth. So you win some, you lose some, you know? Okay, so we go into the next match, and we are against the old Cloud thing itself. And as an aside, you can run Ice Punch on Dusclops, which gives some interesting extra options for you. So if you are interested in running Dusclops, Ice Punch might be something you consider there. All right. So we switch into the Talonflame because Dusclops was going to struggle there, and actually what we want to line up with the Altaria is going to be our Azumarill because we have Fairy and Ice moves. So I was just counting on Talonflame being able to take whatever is in the middle here, so let's hope I can actually do that. Okay. I was able to switch out, so I preserved some health and banked some energy on the Talonflame. So we can farm down with Hex, and I expect the Altaria to come back. Yeah. So we will just throw some Shadow Punches to chip whatever damage we can, and then we can come in with Azumarill, and that should put us in a pretty good position. I'm feeling relatively good about that. Also, you can see some notifications at the top of the page because I forgot to change the settings on my phone there. And that message was from my buddy Sam, who had me on his movie podcast, Hollywood Cast Connection. So if you haven't listened to Hollywood Cast Connection, I strongly recommend it. It is super fun, and you'll be able to hear me on the podcast very soon. Okay, so we are able to use Dusclops to take out the Altaria, which is great, and that leaves them with a Galarian Stunfisk. So I had to build up enough energy to threaten the Hydro Pump to make it look like maybe we had stored that up, even though we did not have it. And oh, this is great. We survive with 1 HP in a dream. Azumarill is super tanky, and then, of course, we are immediately going to swap into the Talonflame to go for the Incinerate and finish off the opponent there. So GG's to the other player. By the way, if you can see the difference in the ELO scores on my account when this comes up, this is a great lead, by the way. You definitely want Dusclops up against Jellicent because Dusclops, they're mutually super effective, but Dusclops is going to spam out moves faster. If you've seen the differences in ELO there, in all of the games I recorded, I got 3 2s with this team, so I just had to cobble some games together to show you. I wanted to showcase majority wins so that you could see how this team kind of operates at its best. But I did include at least one loss there so that y'all could see where it had some struggles as well. And after I finished recording for the day, I got up the next morning and did some extra sets with the team, and I was getting 4 1s and went a 5-0 with it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Of course, whatever I record is going to be like the worst available sets, because that is just my luck. But anyway, we're going to hop back into the match now. We're going to let this Azumarill go, except for the Bubble Beam, which is not enough to KO. So we are going to go for this Ice Beam, and we can take out the Jellicent. So it's basically a 1-for-1 deal, right? The Azumarill got knocked out, and the Jellicent got knocked out, and we have, 1 3/4 Pokemon left or whatever. So we have a really good answer to Beedrill in terms of Talonflame, and I probably could have gone with the Incinerate down, but I wanted to start ramping up the strength of Talonflame's attack, and we did get a shield out of them. I was very surprised by that. So that was a cue to me that they might have something weak to Talonflame in the back. Vigoroth isn't exactly weak to Talonflame, but it's gonna struggle. It is gonna struggle. So here we can comfortably come in with Dusclops and use the Fire Punch to finish off the Vigoroth, and that's gonna be another good game. So I hope that you're having fun, maybe experimenting with some of your spooky Pokemon in prep for the Halloween Cup. And this has been a showcase for Dusclops.